Hi everyone, Karen here, and today it's time for number 5 birthday. So this is one I did ahead of time to make sure everything was going to fit correctly, and we're going to do one today in these colors here. So before we get started, let's go over what we have. So once again, we have the words for the inside and a matte layer for that. I have a 5 with a shadow layer, and then there's another layer that is going to fit across the front of the card base. And when you line it all up, you're going to see there's a little piece hanging out here, and this is where the cake is going to line up. Gives you a place to line up the cake. And this in here lines up the happy birthday on the top. And the card base will be like this when you cut it out, and you will have to fold it in half. Then in here, in the tray, I have the happy and the birthday. I have the candles, and then the pieces to the cake are over in here. So they will cut out like that. And there are two the same, and then those go on the bottom, but we'll get to that, how that all goes together. So let's start with the card base, put everything else back in here. And move my sample over to the side, and let me grab the scoreboard. So let's show you. So when this prints out, like I've said before, I don't put the score line in here because different machines do handle score lines differently. Some machines like to put a perforated line in there. Some, use a scoring tool. So this way you can put it in yourself with just your bone folder. So just line it up on your scoreboard, and then you'll have that folded in half. All right, so let's start with the inside. We'll get that done. So I'm going to just take some glue. And this inside says, wow, today you are 5 years old. That's a whole hand old. And I've said that to 5-year-olds before, and they kind of look at their hand and are like, ooh. So, that's fun for a 5-year-old. So we'll put some glue on here. And we will put this on here. Get this lined up. All right, we'll put this to the side. Nope, actually, I'm just going to glue this in. Let's put some glue on here. We will glue the inside, and that will be done. All right, I will let that dry while we construct the 5. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is decide how we want to put these together. You can put them all flat if you want to, or you can put foam in between some of the layers. So in the first one I glued the print and the shadow together, and then I put that on 1/16 foam. And I think I'll do that again. So I'll take some glue. I will glue this to the dark purple. Flip this over and put some foam on here. Put some here. Some here. It'll go across here. Put some here. I don't want it to be saggy. Put that here, and I think I'll put a little bit more here. Make sure it's not saggy. All right, let's take out the tape off. Make sure it's pressed down there really good. And I'm back to using my iCraft foam. That if you watched the number 4 and you saw me struggle with the tape, that was American Craft foam. And not a fan. It comes off in your fingers. For this iCraft foam, you can touch with your fingers and it doesn't come apart on you. So that's stuck over in the drawer to be used for emergencies only if I run out. All right, so there's our 5. And now this is going to get glued to the front of this card. Take the glue. Now this will be flush up against the side here. get the glue off my hand. So we'll hold it here. So it's flush across this top, except you'll have this little piece sticking out. It'll be flush across here. And then on the bottom you'll have this piece and this little bit showing. Alright, now let's bring in the pieces to the cake. So like I said, there are two that are the same size, and they will go on the bottom. Then there's one that's a little bit smaller, and then one that's still smaller than that. The two that are the big ones go on the big size. One goes on that one, and one goes on the small one, like this. Now, when you start your cake construction, you need to make sure you don't put this on backwards. So just take the piece, put it on the front where it's going to fit, and make sure that the middle layer here, the highest point, is on the edge of the card. And just check it by laying it down and making sure those two, this piece here and this piece here, will match up. So just lay it down and make sure that matches. Yeah, just take that second and make sure you're not laying this down backwards. So now we're going to take some glue and we'll put just a couple dabs. And I'm going to take my little sticky tool here, pick up my candles, and let's get those in place. Here's one. Here is two. Here is three. Here is four. And five. Now these candles on top, if you don't want to put down all these little pieces, you absolutely could color them in. And then just color it down to the edge here, and then when you put this trim on, it will cover the end. So if you don't want to do the flames and all that, you absolutely could just color this in. Put some glue on here. Now I will pick up the big pieces. But let me take a second and make sure I have them lined up properly and not backwards. All right, so there is flame number one. Now if you don't like the look of it that way, you absolutely could put the flames on first and then put the flame underneath, like that. Let's see, here is flame number two. And I think I will put them all underneath. All right, there is flame number two. Flame number three. Flame number four. And flame number five. All right, so now we will take the smallest of the three pieces for the cake, and this is going to go down. On here, you'll just line up the two sides. Then this piece will go over the top. And I'm going to pick this up to line it up. Just easier if you hold it up. There we go. When you're doing this at home, you're not going to be trying to hold it to where the camera can see everything. There you go. There's piece number 1. Now piece number 2 goes in the middle. Make sure I'm putting it in the right direction. This will go on here. Then the trim goes over the top. And we will put on the bottom piece this way. Always check, make sure you're not putting the glue on the wrong side. This will go on here because this cake definitely has a front and a back to it. Put that on. Now one piece goes across top. Line it up. There we go. Now pieces across the bottom. All right, and there is our cake. So we can bring this in. Now I think I do want to put this on a little bit of foam. It would look just fine on here if you don't want to put any more foam than the 1/16, but I'm going to put a little bit more foam on here. So I'm going to bring the foam in again. And I'll put foam here. And a piece going down this side. Now when I look at this corner over here will need to be supported. Because see, there's no foam here, and there's 1/16 here. And this is going to sit on top. So I'm going to need to put a little bit extra foam on this side. So I'm going to put the one piece here. I'm going to peel this off. I'm going to put another little piece on top. Like that. So now I have 2 layers here. And 1 layer here. And I'll just keep it from being saggy. Pull the tape off. Now we're just going to use this edge down here to line this up. And lay it down. This corner here matches with this corner right here. And we'll just lay that down. Alright, so now what we have left is the happy birthday. So for this one I have a white background. Let me line up my letters here. For happy. H-A. P-P-Y. Take a little. Now this I'm going to use my tweezers. These letters are little. I had a little piece hanging on there. So I'm going to hold it with the tweezers, put some glue, the fine tip bottle on the back side. And I'm just going to follow along the edge here. You'll see where the little edges are. And just follow along H. And you only need a little bit of glue. I went a little crazy there. A. just start with the B. And the B is smaller on the top. There's B. The I does not have a dot on the top of it. R. Just a tiny bit of glue. Now, if you didn't want to glue down all the letters, when you open up the SVG, keep the white background and the yellow letters together, and you can do that as a print and cut if you don't want to have to do this. And the Y. Alright, so there's happy birthday. So now all we have left is to put it on here, and I'm going to put a little bit of foam back here to make it the same height as the cake. So let's see, we don't need a lot on here. Some there, some over here, and some over here. Now take this off. Now this is going to line up. Oh, that shifted a little bit. So you may want to give that a moment to dry before you put it on. So this Y here lines up with this here. And the B in the birthday lines up with this over here. So as you see, it's the same as the cake, that this little piece here is not going to have any support behind it, but it's kind of close, so I think it will be all right. And it's not as big as the cake. So I'm just going to line up the Y and come over here and line up the B and press down. And there you have it, number 5 in the books. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, because that's how YouTube counts everything. And if you would like to see the rest of them as we go through, getting closer to 10, subscribe and hit the notification button, and you will get a notification every time I get one of these videos done. And until next time, stay crafty.